Luke Grimes, we met a couple years ago in Nashville. I think it was at when Losers had the Broadway location, and there was that event with you. I was about 120 pounds heavier, so
Oh,
I took a little bit more space in the camera frame and in people's field of vision in general. But
well,
man,
congrats on
it's
that, man. That's crazy. I bet it
thank
feels
you.
good.
Dude, it's awesome. Like I can see my feet without a mirror. It's good. It's, had to edit that one for content, obviously. No, but man, thank you for making some time today. It's exciting to see the next version of what you've got musically, and we'll get into that for a second. We'll talk about some of the TV stuff a little bit later, but we'll talk about the business first. um I know music is something we all have in our lives growing up, and I know music is a part of our lives from the time we're kids to the time we die. At what point did you go, all right, music isn't just a hobby anymore. This isn't just a side thing. This is something I want to do, professionally, and not just, in the backyard with my friends or jam sessions in the car with family.
I was just sort of I never saw that coming. It wasn't part of the plan. And I actually, I'd kind of had some friends in this business and some guys that I would like trade little things with, things I was writing on just for fun. It was just sort of a hobby and just a big fan of country music and music in general. And then I got a call one day from a music manager who was basically like, I heard that you play. He'd heard through, so I don't know how he heard, but he's like, "I heard you play. Would you like to try this?" I was like, "Man, I don't even know what that means. I don't know anything about that business. I don't know what that looks like. I have no clue, what that would even be." He goes, "Well, we'd start by, trying to get you a record deal, and then you'd make an album." I was like, "Well, that sounds cool." So it all just started with, the idea that I could just make something, and then slowly, baby steps, started learning what this business is and how it works, but mostly just trying to focus on the fact that I get to make songs. I mean, that's where it all lives for me.
I would imagine, being a creative in your professional life as an actor, um, is it, I guess it's kind of cool because this is kind of I hate to use the term creative outlet, but it is for you to get away from the nuances of acting and the repetition of, 10, 20 takes sometimes for a scene, right? You can kind of let loose a little bit with audio, right? There's a little bit, I like to call it the radio slop factor. Like it doesn't have to look perfect when when you lay it down on a track, right? There's a lot more feeling versus scripting that goes into making music. Would you agree?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing that for me that was sort of really fulfilling was that obviously with acting, I'm saying someone else's words and I'm helping tell someone else's story, which is a process that I love and would never
Mhm.
complain about. I mean, I love that side of the creative process
Taylor's
too.
listening. He loves the gig. He's going to keep doing it, for many, many versions of his
Oh,
character.
yeah, and saying that guy's words is pretty fun because he's a damn good writer, so that
Yes,
helps,
sir.
but, with the songwriting, it's like I get to say what I want now, and, that sort of opened up a whole other part of my soul in a way of just like, "Well, what do I wanna say?"
Mhm.
And sort of digging in there and going like, "What is important to me?" If you have a chance to put something out in the world and say something about yourself or about how you feel, what is that thing? And so that, sort of mining that has been the best, most fun creative process of my life.
So when people hear Redbird, what do you hope they learn about you that they didn't already know as Luke Grimes the person?
Well, it's all on there. I'll say that. It's all in
Covering
there.
all the bases. Okay.
Yeah. There no amount of interviews could ever cover the me that is all over those tracks. That was sort of the point. And I know that should always be the point, and people say that a lot. Um, but that was the goal was like let's really tell the whole story here. And as you'll see on the album, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all of it.
You've you've spent years playing characters, and do you feel that this is the opportunity for the fans to get to see that side of you that's 100% you? That like, are you the guy rewriting the lyrics at 2 a.m., or did these songs come together pretty easily for you to put on Redbird?
Well, it's a very different process. This one, I showed up with like a bunch of songs ready to go that were already written that I'd kind of worked on for months, and been here in Nashville and riding with a lot of great riders, and kind of got there, and Dave threw them all away. I was like, we're going to do this different this time. And so I
Okay.
just followed his lead, and we brought in Jessie Joe Dillon, who we both love as a rider. She's one of the greats. And it was just me, Dave, and Jessie Joe sitting around the studio. We would cut that day, and then that night we'd try to write something for the next day. And if we didn't get anything, then we'd come back early in the morning the next day and write the thing for that day. And we did that over and over again until we cut like 16 songs.
Oh,
And
wow.
then only 10 made it on the album, but they were the 10 that felt basically that felt like the most, I can say this with full honesty and, chest forward, open voice, and say like, this is the truth. And then some of them ended up feeling like we kind of missed the mark there. That isn't really a part of who I am. We were trying to make a good song, which is a very different thing. And I think this, than what this album ended up being.
That's what those, gratuitous releases down the road are for. You want to pop a track out, it's been a minute. Yeah, that's what you just got to save them. Got to keep
There
them
you
up your
go.
sleeve for the right time. There you go. What is more nerve-wracking for you at this point in your career, walking onto a film set or walking onto a stage with the guitar? Where do you feel more nervous?
1000% walking onto a stage with a guitar. And
There's no redos, right? You get that first impression one time.
one time, and there are people there. The audience is in front of you. With film and TV, there's no audience. They're people that you work with every day. So,
Sure.
you don't really care what they think at that point. But when the audience is right in front of you and you're catching their eyes and they're there and they've paid to be in front of you, there's no feeling like that. I call it jumping out of the airplane. The moments before going on stage, every time it's just like, just got to do it. Just got to jump off the airplane and just hope that everything goes okay. That's how it feels for me anyway. I'm sure there are people that have, that love it, that, can't wait to get up there. That has never been my experience. And I don't say that because I think it's interesting. I think, if I heard someone saying this, I go, well, then don't do it. Who cares? But the point is that it's like I don't think that the fear of doing something should stop people from doing it, especially when it comes to expressing yourself. I think it's important.
So let's talk about what people know you for. Obviously, playing Casey Dutton on Yellowstone, and now Marshall's. Congratulations on the early success of that show. That's exciting.
Thank you.
I know our buddy Riley Green is going to be making his season debut here in a few weeks. That was announced recently. How is it going to feel being the second best looking guy on the show from that point forward?
Yeah, I didn't do myself any favors bringing him on. I knew that going in. I was like, he talked about wanting to act, and that all happened because we were writing a song together, and he talked about wanting to act, and it's like, man, you should actually do something in the show I got coming up. I thought he could play like a teen guy. He has that look to him. He could have been
Yeah,
like
no
a
doubt.
SEAL, And then I forgot, that he was 6'4" and the most handsome guy of all time. And and he walks on set and I'm like, great. Okay. There goes half my audience,
Well, they say all boats rise. There's that expression.
There you
So
go.
I feel like I'm better looking when I'm around Riley Green. So maybe it'll be the same on TV for you.
I did not get that feeling. I felt very inferior.
You've played everything. I mean, Casey Dutton has been everything now from a cowboy rancher on a special ops team. As Luke Grimes, what's the most normal guy thing you do that would surprise people?
Normal guy thing?
Yeah, just like the everyday thing, like just something that says,
I'm
you know
the
what?
most normal guy that
Okay.
there
So
there is.
what's a typical day when you're not working? Like, what's something that people like? There's no way.
I mean, these days it's just taking my kid outside, letting him find, snails and bugs and stuff. Like that's like his favorite thing of all time, and has become one of mine now. That's that any day off is sort of that. I think me and my wife love to camp and love to travel, and we have an RV that we love to drive around in. When I got a couple weeks off, we'll just kind of get in the RV and hop around and check out some spots. That's probably one of my favorite things to do.
So I like to do this with everybody that's on the show for the first time. We call it the Beat Up Radio Rapid Fire. And basically it's just simple, no thought required of these, just first thing that pops in your head if you're down.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Luke Grimes doing Beat Up Radio Rapid Fire, early mornings or late nights?
Late nights.
Whiskey or beer?
Whiskey.
Nice. In any particular kind, or just equal opportunity as long
Well,
as it
I'm
tastes
gonna
good?
say High West because, I'm partnered with them, and
Okay,
I'm
fair.
partnered with them because I loved it already. This
All
wasn't
right.
a yeah.
It's an authentic, organic partnership. I
Yeah,
love that.
I kind of like they have a place in Park City where I work. They have, like, a saloon there that I just frequented quite a bit, and they were like, "You should just work here," I think, so that's how that happened.
Horse or truck?
Truck.
Mountains or beach? I feel like that's an obvious
Ooh.
answer with what you've done the last, 7 years of your life.
You know what, though? I do love a beach too,
Okay.
but, my wife and I just went to Kauai for a while over the holiday break, and it's got both, so that place is incredible.
You've gotta spend some time in Oregon when you get some off time because you've got
Mm.
both of them. Like, this is one of the only states where you can do it, from a traffic standpoint. You could get up in the morning and go skiing. You could hit the golf course, and you could go to the beach and surf. You need a dry suit, obviously, to do that in the Pacific where, in Northern Pacific. But, dude, Oregon, like, you get it all within 2 hours of each other. It's crazy.
It's funny you say that. My next RV trip is we're gonna start, like, kind of up at the top of Washington on the coast and drive all the way down to I have an LA trip I have to do, but drive all the way down the coast to LA.
You wanna
We're
do the
literally
101 all the
doing
way down and then cut all
all
the
the way. It's
Yeah,
what you
Big
just
Sur's
said, yeah.
open now. I feel like Highway 1 because it was closed because that landslide outside of, Big Sur is
Yeah,
like
it's open.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
packed.
so take advantage before it closes again because it's just a matter of time, right?
Yeah, my wife and I got engaged in Big Sur,
Really?
so
I've never
yeah.
been. I ride motorcycles, so it's like I
Oh,
wanna ride the
dude,
one all the
that's
way
the
down.
spot. The Big Sur
Okay.
is the most beautiful spot, I think, maybe in America. Big Sur the Tetons in Big Sur, I think, are unbeatable.
Are you more of an introvert in your daily life because of what you have to do for a career? Like, would you prefer just a night in watching Netflix with the family?
Yeah, I'm big time introvert. I mean, I think, I like being creative and I like, the idea of trying to practice art, but I'm less good at attention and that stuff. And I don't say that to have some sort of false humility. I really I get very kind of more nervous about the attention aspect of it. I like making things.
That's awesome. Well, if when you make it out to Oregon and you do that trip, I don't know if you and your wife are into wine at all. Are you wine folk, like wine tasting
You
and
like
stuff?
wine? Yeah.
So Oregon is insane for Pinot Noir, and we're members and become really good friends with a winery owner named Paul Durant. So it's Durant Wines, and if you're ever up in the Portland area, it's like 45 minutes outside of town. Can set you up with a private tasting, you and the wife, and have
Dude, I'm
them
in.
walk you through everything. So
That
have
sounds
the
great.
team give you my info and my cell, and reach out anytime you're in the area, man. You're always welcome.